You're listening to U.S. Phenomenon with your host, Mario Magana.
To the show. It is a nice evening to have, as summer starts to creep away from us and we near the fall season just around the corner, I thought it would be appropriate to have some of our good friends make a return. For those who may not know these two wonderful ladies who are joining us tonight, June and Wendy from Ghost and Girls Paranormal.com. Ladies, welcome back to the show and welcome to your inaugural ride on our flagship station here.
Woohoo!
Yeah, glad to be back.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, so for most people who don't know you ladies, you guys are in the, should I say, Ghostbusters business?
Well, I don't know if I'd call it ghost busting. We usually talk to the ghosts, and it's the demons we bust.
And when you
try to remove them.
Yeah.
And you guys do this as a tag team, and with the pandemic, the first time we had you guys on, you were doing most of this remotely, right?
Yeah, I do most of my removals remotely anyway. Yeah.
You know, I forgot to tell this story. So the last time we had you ladies on, I kid you not, we had you on for that hour during the show, and I was doing the show from my mobile studio at home. Sometimes people don't know I do the show at home, and there's times where I go into the studio at the station and I'll do it there. But this time I decided we were, because we weren't having live calls then, we were doing the show from home. And after our lovely discussion that we had with you ladies, I kid you not, 2 of our framed pictures in the dining room fell off the wall.
It's not unexpected.
Something
It
strange
happens.
always happens.
Oh yeah, either you get it on the recording end of it, and people will call me later and say, "Man, what the heck? Got this a growling or something like that going on in the background." I'm like, "Yeah, just normal."
Voices behind us. Yeah.
Yeah, little things like that.
So you're saying that I should something could happen this evening on the show? Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah,
You never
anything's
know.
likely. Yeah.
Okay, so I got my rosary. I kid. Really, it was interesting because my girlfriend said, Melissa said, yeah, no more. You can't do the show here anymore because I don't want anything to happen. Look, I'm not trying to invite anybody. I just want to have a discussion because it's getting close to that time of year. We're getting ready for September. I mean, Christmas ornaments are already out. Holiday ornaments are already out at Costco.
Come on. No.
That's crazy. That's too early.
Oh.
Okay. So since we last talked, for those who may or may not know you, ladies, kind of give us a little background about yourselves.
I always defer to her
Hello.
first. She is the senior member here.
She
Hey,
is.
what are you trying to say? Anyway,
You have been at this way longer than me.
I've been psychic medium all my life. I've always been able to see and hear the demons and understand them. And it's only after I died and went to the other side that I understood why I could see them, why I could hear them, because I see them in their true form, which is different than most people see them. Because what happens was when you see a demon, it reaches into your mind and pulls out an image of what it wants to create so that it can look scarier than your preconceived idea of what they should look like. And so they can look like anything from spiders to,
Potatoes.
half ram,
with
half
arms.
human, or potatoes with arms. but I see them in their true form, so it doesn't, I don't even notice. I mean, I'm so used to seeing them that way. Since I was 5 years old, I don't care. They scare people, if you were to see them.
Right.
Jack didn't exactly like looking at it. So there you go.
They're ugly.
Yeah.
It's interesting because for those who are listening, they're like, wait, what are we talking about? Yeah, we're talking about really bad entities. Should we call them ghosts? Or are they really demons? What I mean,
they're demons. They're not ghosts. Ghosts infers that they have had a human life, and these are inhumans. They're unable to have a body, be reborn into a body. They just can't do it. It's not allowed.
Our guest tonight, June and Wendy from ghostandgirlsparanormal.com are joining us tonight on the show. Ladies, welcome back again. And I have to say that in all of this, if people want to get a hold of you, do they just go to ghostandgirlsparanormal.com to reach you guys? If they have maybe it's something in their house that doesn't feel right, or maybe they're having an experience with themselves.
Yeah, they can do that, or they can go to mysticconnections.org. It's the same thing.
And we have a YouTube and an Instagram. I mean, Facebook and Instagram.
Facebook, yeah.
And how can they find you on the Book of Faces?
Ghosts and Girls Paranormal, or June Lundgren, or Wendy
Stanton Phillips.
Yeah, either one of them will get you to us.
And Instagram, it's Ghosts and Girls International, I believe.
Yeah, and YouTube channel is Ghosts and Girls Paranormal.
So since we last chatted, I was like, okay, so we chatted a while back, and now we're on a few others new radio stations, and I thought it would be only fitting, since we're getting closer to autumn. Is there more activity during the fall season, autumn, or is it just pure straight across the board, always an issue?
Right now, it's mostly straight across the board. Yeah. People always think, ooh, Halloween, it's going to be an increase in activity. But with all the pandemic stuff and the fear and the worry and the depression that's going on, it's, 24/7.
It's their favorite time, is when people are under extreme stress and have fear.
So what should we be telling people out here? Not to fear?
Yeah, actually fear feeds them. It feeds the negative entities. It makes them stronger, and if you do think that you have like an inhuman, the best thing is not to acknowledge it, because if you acknowledge it, it makes it see you. If you don't acknowledge it, it thinks you can't see it, so it just moves on somewhere else.
Do you feel that in this, if I was to say, what would you need to do if we're going to just talk in generalities? If I said, how do you guys put yourselves out of business? Not that you're
never had that asked.
I was going to say, I've never had that asked, and I don't think there'll ever be a time when that's going to happen.
That would take miracle of miracles, I think.
Yeah, the dark realm would have to disappear, and that's not going to happen, because you have to have the yin and yang. You have to have the balance of good and bad, because if you don't have that balance, things get all thrown off.
Our guests tonight are Wendy and June from ghostandgirlsparanormal.com. If you'd like to be a part of this show, or maybe you need some help, or you have an entity that may be, I don't know, following you, or maybe you have something that's fallen off your wall like we did here, give us a call. 775-990-5151 is our studio hotline. Again, when we get close to the bottom of the hour, when we come back, I have some other things that I'd like to ask you guys in regards to maybe some personal things that may have happened to individuals that you can share with us. But recently, we were having a discussion just as a group about the Ouija board. And I know we talked about this briefly last time, and there seems to be an uptick of people purchasing Ouija boards. Now, what's the disclaimer that we gave last time that you ladies covered about the Ouija board?
You can tell them, Wendy, because I don't remember.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
In short, don't do it. If you don't know what you're doing, don't know how to open it, you don't know how to close it, you're going to possibly wreak all sorts of havoc. And I know a lot of people will go by them thinking it's a nice, innocent kids game. And yet in the back of their heads, they may be thinking, maybe I'll get some answers to some of my worries or my fears. Well, they could be opening a whole nother door. And that's when we get the emails and phone calls. We don't know what we did. All we did was play with the Ouija board.
Yeah,
Right.
The thing is, it's like any tool. And, one of the things I learned when I died and went to the other side is that thought becomes reality. And it's in their realm, in the light and the dark realm. And it's the intention behind the thought that gives it power. And if your intention by using the Ouija board is to summon evil, then that's what you're going to get. If your intention is to summon good only, then that's what you're going to get as well. But it doesn't hurt to either, wash the board down with holy water or keep a crucifix on the board or something to that effect. If you must play with it, make sure you ask for God's blessing before you start. And when it's done, ask for God to close the door, because each thing you do like that opens a portal.
When you were just talking briefly just a few minutes ago about you dying and going across to the other side and coming back, can you explain that for myself or someone else who may not understand that?
I was riding my motorcycle and a woman ran a red light, hit me on my bike, and I was clinically dead for 2 minutes. And I went to the other side and I met my grandparents there. And Michael, the archangel, he was there, and he says, you need to understand this, that you're supposed to be here for now. He says, this is not your time. He said, but you need to understand who and what resides within you. And he says, your soul is Ariel, the archangel. She's a demon slayer, and she was sent back to relive physical world lives until she learns to have compassion for mankind. And, I hadn't a clue on who that was, so Michael's like, look it up, go on the internet and look it up. So the only thing you can find on the internet is that she's one of the 5 that guard the throne of God, and that her name means Lion of God. But there's a lot more to her than that. Once I came back to life, and it took me a couple of years to deal with that, because I had just met my husband, and I was going to have a baby in a short time. And so, life happened. But once I did, then Michael said, listen, we need to do a merge. You need to be able to talk to Ariel, to see what she sees, hear what she hears, feel what she feels. And so he did what he calls a merge. And I can see through her eyes, I can hear what she's saying, and I can hear what she hears. And when she comes out, comes forward, when I do removal, she comes forward. What usually happens is I have physical manifestations. My eyes turn white, my face looks younger, my voice changes, and I have wings coming out of my shoulders. So it's those are the physical manifestations that appear. She has attitude, though.
Oh, she does. You have to tell her to get back in. It's not time yet.
Yeah, she has attitude.
Tonight, our conversation is about some of the most, I don't know if it's, for most people, I would say would fear demons. Some ghosts, I think people are afraid of, because I think that people really merge those two together. Oh, ghost, demons, the same thing, It's
They're
like,
not.
I think it's a great point to have you ladies come on to discuss that, because the last thing we want to do is people that are ghosts. Maybe it's a good ghost, right? Maybe it's a good person who's, wants to say hello to a family member or give a gift or something of that nature.
9 times out of 10, that's all it is.
Yep. Keeping an eye on things, checking back.
When we come back, we're getting close to the bottom of the hour. I want to ask, since we last had you on, if you guys can share with us some of your guys's, fun adventures in life. Maybe you guys have, gone to some spiritual warfare by removing some crazy demonic entities. You don't see any in here, do you? In my studio?
No, let me hold on a minute. Maybe I can send one your way.
No. Woo! No, I kid.
Run.
I think I
Run.
right. I kid because I've only had a couple experiences in my own personal life, and maybe others can share this with theirs. Do most people have? I've only seen like my grandparents in dreams, but most of my stuff has been, I would say, in a dream as like deja vu, and I don't typically have that as much as I used to, but I still have it once in a while. And once in a while, I've had dreams of my grandparents having conversations with me, but that's about it. I haven't really had the pleasure of, meeting anyone from the other side or coming to visit or anything of that nature.
That is a visit, though.
Oh, that is.
That is it.
Yeah, they'll come to you in many ways.
Okay. All right. So then I can check the box saying I'm part of the cool club now, saying that, yeah, you've had the experience of someone from the other side. When someone does, if it's, from a dream or like physically you see them in your living room or wherever you might be, how does one handle that? And is that when people should be calling you, or what could we tell the listeners or our, people out here listening this evening? What should they be doing?
Sitting down and talking. That's the best thing. Just sit down, have a conversation. When they come in your dreams, it's because that's one of the few times when we're so open. Our head's not filled with worry about bills and work and the kids and all that sort of stuff. And we're more open to them. If they happen to, if you happen to see the apparition of them, it's because they're half in the physical world and they've got a message for you. So don't panic. Just sit down and have a nice conversation.
Yeah. It's the darker ones you want to avoid and pretend you don't see, but your loved ones or your friend, they can come to you in so many different ways: smells, sights, moving things around, just so many ways.
When we come back, we're going to ask these ladies what they've been doing since the last time they came on the show. The last time they came on the show, I think we almost may have been just starting the radio show. And I don't even think they know what the name of the show is now. The last time they're like, what is this? Is this a new paint job? What car is this? It's the same show, just a new color on the paint job. When we come back, we're going to ask them what kind of removals they've been up to and any fun little adventures they've been doing since the last time we've had them on. I was going to say, since the change of the pandemic, so really nothing's really changed. So we'll ask them what's going on the other side, and maybe they can give us some insight on what we should be expecting or doing here in the future, right here locally, as we just continue to live life. We'll be back. It is U.S. Phenomenon. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the show. Our guest tonight, these ladies don't need any introduction, although we will properly introduce them. These ladies have enough power to muscle or pick anybody up and whip them around like a little ragamuffin. The ladies tonight joining us on the show is June and Wendy from ghostandgirlsparanormal.com. Ladies, welcome back. Sorry about the commercial break and our little break there, but welcome back. Thanks for being so patient.
That's
so
no
good.
problem. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming back on. So since I know we keep saying since we've had you back on, whatever, and everyone's like, I've never even heard these ladies before. For that being the case, what have you guys been doing since we last chatted?
Well, the pandemic's been running rampant, so people don't want anybody in their home. People are afraid of anything like that, that sort of thing. So you just kind of no, we haven't really done any cases together because of the whole pandemic thing.
We're
I'm not
waiting.
worried
We want
about
to.
it. Yeah. Yeah, we're waiting for a time when we can. I get about 20 to 30 requests a month for help with the demonic removal and stuff like that. And it's just never ending. So, since the pandemic, it's picked up exponentially. So I've just been doing a lot of removals. I'm going to be a guest speaker at the Las Cruces Paracon the first weekend in October. I'll be speaking both Saturday and Sunday there. Our ghost conference was kind of canceled, so we're hoping the next one, this coming March, will be in person for a change.
Miss it. We miss our adventures and taking care of people. It's not the same.
Yep.
No, I can only imagine, doing Zoom calls and having conferences that are virtual kind of takes out that in-person, touch and feel to like a lot of things. I mean, you're missing something, that third dimension. It's just 2D, you only have that, that level of the electronic, screen and whatnot. I saw the other day on the news, and I thought I'd bring this up, and I'm going back through my memory. A family in California, I believe, was out on an outing trip, and they were in the back woods or trail on some type of utility vehicle. I think it was their, SUV, and their son had gotten out and said, had told his mom, said, Mom, can you come here? There's someone that needs our help. And she's like, who, honey? He's like this. And he said this lady. And if I have the story correctly, he says that she's over here in this certain area. They couldn't find her. They ended up telling police, and they had been looking for this individual for some time. And I believe they were connecting the two dots with a missing person and the lady that had talked to the young boy. Do kids have that I want to call it spidey sense, but have the ability to talk to people on the other side more than adults?
Yeah, they're more open because they're not told, no, you can't do that. No, there's no such thing as a ghost or an invisible friend. So, they're quite open to it until they reach about 10, 12 years of age. And so it's nothing. They just think that's normal.
And I don't know, we went camping recently, and I bring this up, and it becomes personal, Melissa, who is my boo, my girlfriend, her parents have passed, but we went camping at a place where her dad rests now. His ashes are at this camp ground. And it's interesting that we have some photos, and maybe some other people have done this too. But as we took photos on where we thought that, he was at, where they put the ashes, there was this dot in all the photos, a green dot on the dog, on some, there were some family photos. Now, I couldn't tell if that was a reflection or if that was actually. So we started doing our research and finding out that others who have had this same, they've done that. They've also had some type of dot or something in the photo that didn't appear in the photo when they took the photo.
They couldn't see it, at least, but it's picked up with the digital camera.
Right.
Just like the EVPs, not, you can't hear it with your ears a lot of the time, but it's picked up with the digital recorder.
They're on a different level and a different plane that we can't always see, or they don't want us to, or it just shows up later.
It's for me. I felt a sense of presence looking back at the pictures. Made me feel like, oh, okay, something. If it was him, I believe it was him. And I just, out of respect, I figured, yeah, he's hanging out with us. We're camping. He wants to be a part of the group. He'd be hanging out.
Yeah, that's true. Family.
Yep.
So now comes the fun part. I know that you guys have, been doing a lot of the Zoom stuff and, conferences virtually. And for those different, entities that you've done removals for, have there been ones that you find to be that drain you more, or is there a story that you could share with us that we could say, oh, wow, that's pretty deep. That's kind of scary. I mean, that drains you out. I mean, there's got to be a story.
There's one in particular that stands out that I was doing Clyde Lewis's show, Ground Zero.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the people that contacted me was a possession case. And so I asked Wendy if she would go in, and then we have a friend that's an ordained minister, Aaron, and we went together to her apartment, and she opened the door, and it's like the minute she opened the door, I knew that there were 11 entities within her. Ooh. And it was definitely a possession case. And so Ariel comes forward, and we're doing the removal, and we're down to the last demon. And I told it, I said, if you want to go home, I said, I'll ask Jesus to bring you home. And the demon wasn't sure that he could go home to the light. And so I said, I said, Jesus, come forth. And I'm standing behind the woman, and this big arm and hand come out between Wendy and Aaron, and it's reaching for the demon to take it home. And I could tell the demon was tempted. And then he said, no, I'm not going, you're lying. And so it pulled back, and so Jesus pulled back. And I have the ability to look into the demon's mind to see why it's there, how it got there, what it's doing. And I found that it was supposed to do a job for Lucifer, and it just didn't bother to do it. It just split. And so I said, okay, you're not going to go there? I said, oh, so I asked Lucifer, I said, Lucifer, come forth. And this entity appeared down the hallway and started walking towards us.
I backed up. I saw it coming.
I just saw Lucifer the way I normally see him in his true form. They saw him in wearing a fedora, double-breasted suit, spats, that type of thing.
And how do you see him?
I see him. He's 7 feet tall. All demons, especially the old ones, are 7 feet tall. They have 12-foot wingspan. And they haven't got much in the way of features on the face, but they're all black, and the eyes are what you look into those eyes, and every evil you can ever imagine is there. It's all there in the eyes.
And that's what I saw.
Ooh.
And so he came forward, and he told the demon, you're coming with me. You need to come. And the demon said, no, I'm not going.
I'm staying here.
I'm staying here. And I said, I looked at Lucifer, and I said, he says, I know you don't want me to kill the woman. If I ripped it out of her, it would kill her. And so he says, I'll be back for it. And he turned around and walked down the hall and disappeared. Well, we all went home. And at 3 a.m., we all woke up in our respective beds and heard it's done. I called her the next day, and she said that she hasn't felt this way in over 20 years, free of them. And I said, you need to get some psychological counseling. I said, you have PTSD badly. I said, from all of this. I said, you need to do that. So last thing I knew, she was getting counseling, which is good. Yeah. So that one kind of sticks in your memory.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting when you were talking about describing Lucifer, right? That's right?
Yeah.
When you said he was 7 foot tall, and you said he was dark.
Black. Yeah.
You know what that kind of
All
reminds
black.
Yep. Shiny black.
These things that stand about 7 foot tall, no one can seem to catch him. They haven't found any bones.
No.
We're talking about Sasquatch.
No. Silly boy.
No, I can't.
No.
There are people out here that believe. I mean, I call. I forget the guy's name off the top of my head. Ron Moorhead. He says that they're transdimensional. I mean, Lucifer's not here. I mean, he's elusive, right?
I've never heard that.
I've never heard that either. Yeah. I'm sure Lucifer's getting a good laugh out of that.
I'm sure he is.
He's not a tall, hairy dude with large feet.
Well,
and long arms.
Okay. Well, I had to ask because we still haven't. I have not, and I think a lot of people may have seen, but still to have like physical proof of this entity or beast.
He's not a beast. He's real. I've seen him.
He's a sentient being.
Yeah. Some people think he's an indigenous from the planet. Some believe that he's transdimensional. Whatever your belief is in Bigfoot, I got a lot of the stickers all over my my flask for water. I think it's a cool thing, you know. I'm not yet to see a UFO either, but it's just not as cool. I'm from the Northwest. It's like it's fitting, right, to have that.
Go up to Trout Lake, Washington.
Go to Walla Walla, outside of there, out in the watershed.
I think it's MacGyver. There's a man up there, MacGyver or McGilvery or something like that. Anyway, you go up there and you stay and you see everything.
Aren't we supposed to go there?
You see I sent an email, but nobody ever responded.
But when
nobody loves us.
No, that's not true, ladies. Our guest tonight is June and Wendy from Ghosts and Girls Paranormal.com. Ladies, it's always a pleasure to have you on. It's fun to have you guys on to talk tongue in cheek, but it is kind of scary. And I think that's the way I approach it because look, I'm not a very big individual, and I know I don't have any superpowers other than, you know, maybe getting a one-up on Super Mario Brothers and maybe an extra life. But really, ladies, I leave this stuff to you guys because, again, having you guys on to talk about this stuff for those who maybe they're afraid to call or maybe they just don't know where to go. You ladies,
they shouldn't be afraid. There are a lot of us out here who care. Look for the caring people. You know, that's what matters. Not somebody who's going to charge you $500, $700, $1,200 a visit to get rid of what's going on in your home. And yes, we've heard of those. Knocks us over. We're like, no, we're here to do what we're supposed to do. We need to help you, and we will.
Yeah, that's God's work. That's you don't charge for God's work.
And for those who are like, wait, you guys believe in God?
Yeah.
How does that?
I hope so.
Yeah. How does that play out for some who are like black and white? God, Satan, no, you know, nothing in regards to psychic abilities and things of that nature. There's a few out there, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, but in the Bible it says, you know, God gives people gifts, and
many.
It says also says, pray that you be given the gift of prophecy. You know, the gift of sight. Sight. Yep.
I don't know,
and we don't know everything He's created.
Right. It's like, you know, people are foolish if they think that they know everything about everything. I've had people that tell me, you know, well, I'm a demonologist or I'm an occult specialist, and I look at them and I say, well, you know, when you talk to a demon, come and see me. Otherwise,
not talk about.
Not
talk about.
Yeah. No, don't say that you are a specialist, a cult specialist or a demonologist till you've actually talked with one, dealt with one. Otherwise, shut your mouth.
Yeah, what she said. No,
A
for real.
piece of paper doesn't do it. I mean, it's a
Right.
piece of
No.
paper. Yeah, you can say it, but actions speak louder than words.
Until you've actually dealt with them one-on-one and not run the other way, then don't come talk to me.
I think what we need to do the next time we have you ladies on, I think that we need to. I think we need to take calls. I think we need to.
Yeah.
I think we need to open up the phone lines and maybe do some of your guys' spiritual work right across the radio, and touch some people's lives. If maybe they're interested, maybe they need help, maybe they just need someone to talk to, maybe they just don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people look for years for help. And, and once they'll say, like, I happened to turn to this podcast and there you were. And so I know that God's led me to you to help. And I'm like, yeah, when you need help, when the time is right and you need help, you'll find
There
me.
it is. We've been known to go to homes where nothing major was happening, but they were so uncomfortable and confused. They needed us to kind of walk through things with them. No removals were needed. It was just helping them understand, dealing with their guilt over different things, whatever, and then just helping them find some peace. Sometimes that's all that is needed, is making peace in yourself with things.
Yeah, it's not like everything we get called in on is a demon. Granted, 9 times out of 10 it is, but the other 1% is what we enjoy, because we get to help people who don't understand, or tell them, oh, that's just grandma's coming to visit, she wants to stay. Or yes, there's a spirit here and they're very protective and they'd like to stay and watch over the children, and I'll tell them to respect your space, that sort of thing. Something like that, where everything gets resolved, they get the help they need, and they feel better.
What are some of the cliches that everyone does when they're like, oh, I want to get rid of an entity? I mean, look, what are the cliches? Burn sage, incense. I mean, what should we really be doing out here if we think we need to do is it proper verbal cleansing? I leave this up to you, ladies.
Well, if you're doing a cleansing because you have, ghosts in the house, then you can sage and ask God to take them home. They need to go home. They don't need to be earthbound here. And if it's a negative, if you're feeling like this is something negative, for God's sakes, don't sage, because saging lets the demons know that they're there, and they're just going to ramp up the activity so that it's 10 times worse than it is already.
I know recently we had a gentleman by the name of, why can't I think of his name off the top of my head? Bill Bean. I don't know if you ladies know Bill Bean. He says he's a spiritual warrior, but he went through he spent a lot of time as a child, I guess, with a lot of entities in his home, and I guess he was able to figure out how to eventually ward off these demons. Either typically, or I'm still blown away and still trying to understand, and we're going to have them back again because we ran out of time. But for someone like myself, or let's say someone's like, hey, like you were just saying, don't sage if you think it's a demon. But does most people, I mean, obviously if I think it's a ghost in the house, right? If there's a ghost in the house, okay, I'm going to sage. But do most people have the ability, or am I being stupid? Maybe let me just re-ask this. Do most people have the ability to decipher, is this a ghost or this a demon? Because someone like myself, who maybe have not had a encounter awake, I might actually be freaked out.
Well, with demonic stuff, it's always negative. It's never loving. It's never little stuff. It's always something really bad. You may feel like the air feels heavy. You may feel sick to your stomach. You may hear growling. You may get scratched. You may get slapped. You may it may keep you awake. It may come to you in your dreams. There's all kinds of ways that the demons present themselves. And whereas ghosts don't do that sort of thing, they really don't have the ability to do a lot of the things a demon can do. A demon can pick you up and throw you down the stairs, for that matter.
I believe I've seen it on that one TV show or movie one time, Paranormal Activity. I saw that girl go up and down the stairs. I don't know if that movie's real, but I'll tell you one thing. I was scared out of my mind. I don't watch any of those movies anymore.
She's caught me when one tried to push me.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, and one tried to reached in and grabbed Aaron's heart and tried to stop it.
Ooh, no.
And one tried to push his wife down the stairs. I had to slap it upside the head a couple of times.
We play with rough creatures.
Yeah, I mean, apparently. Now, do you ladies ever get encounters where you're at home, you guys are just doing your normal daily lives, and then something talks to you like, Tim needs help, or someone's name.
He needs help.
Tim really needs help.
That's my husband.
Oh, yeah, Tim. Where are you, buddy?
Driving home, I hope.
Oh, good. Well, hopefully he'll drive safe. But do you guys ever get any of that where someone may not, like myself, if I was to eventually contact you, but do you ever have to go out there and find someone because you're like, man, I need to know who this person is. Someone is trying to, that person needs help, but someone's coming to you telling you need help from the other side.
No, because they'll get them to where they need to go. They'll get them to us.
I got you.
That's the thing. It's like you picture a big chessboard on the other side, and they're busy moving the pieces and get people in the right area where they need to be to get the help they need. So It's like, I went to a graveyard one time. My sister-in-law thought it was funny to take me to a graveyard. I told her I don't do graveyards. And she's like, I'm like, there's about 30 ghosts here. And I'm like, listen, okay, so who wants to contact their loved one? And almost everybody raised their hand. I said, put down your hands unless you've got a telephone and an address for me. Forget it. Let's move on. Who wants to go home?
On that note, ladies, it's always an honor and a privilege to have you on. My tongue got tied because I'm sure someone was messing with me. But again, let's have you on. We'll take you to the flagship station, and we'll take live calls. We'll take live calls, right? We'll
okay.
Here's what we'll do.
Fun.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get ready. We're gonna gear up for the month of Spooktober. We'll have you come on. What? And you'll be part of the Spooktober extravaganza. It's an entire month of freaky Halloween
mayhem.
Yeah, story. And
we
these
can do that.
These aren't made up. These are actually things that have happened and transpired, like the 13 Steps to Hell in Maltby, Washington, or maybe it's something in Astoria I was reading earlier. I don't remember what it was, but we'll probably put that in there. And
the Norblad, yeah.
The Cape Lookout. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're familiar.
Yeah.
So, ladies, we'll have to have you come back in on in just a couple months from now, probably a month and a half, I guess. I mean, we're getting close to the
going fast.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's sneaking up on us.
Yeah. Anything that our listeners should be aware of coming up for the fall season, or
just the La Cruces Paracon that I'm speaking at.
Okay.
It's October 2nd and 3rd, the first weekend in October.
All the information will be posted tonight, later on this evening in our podcast when that comes out later on this evening. So if you missed any information, you're like, oh, how do I find it? Go to onairmario.com or usphenomenon.com. It's easier just to spell onairmario.com. Get you there anyhow. And check out the podcast. We'll have it available, and you'll be able to find all their information. Again, we have June and Wendy from Ghosts and Girls Paranormal.com. If you'd like to find them on their website. Again, ladies, thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thanks for having us.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
We had fun.